Starting today's practice with a tall spine, head is lifted up towards ceiling. Giving ourselves just an opportunity to breathe, open the heart, and connect with your breath. Yoga flow is about that exact feeling, that feeling of being able to match gentle, easy movements with the pace of your breath. So maybe it feels nice to go ahead and drop your chin towards your chest. Maybe you start some gentle sweeping of the head from right to left. And I'll set us with our opening intention. Randomly drawn today from the deck of Wisdom Cards by Louise Hay. Today's card simply states, I allow others to be themselves. I do not try to heal my friends. I do my own mental work and heal myself. This is the best thing I can do for others. I do my own mental work and heal myself. This is the best thing I can do for others. I just allow others to be themselves. Throughout these trying times that we're in right now, sometimes that's very difficult. Everyone's going to have varying opinions and varying lifestyles, and we just got to work on ourselves. So thank you again for taking time this morning or whenever you're joining us today to appreciate this time for yourself. This mental work, this physical work on yourself. Letting the head come back to center. Use your inhale breath to bring head back up over spine. And then we're just going to reach our hands slowly off to the sides of us. If you're seated tall, maybe in a low V position with those hands. Take the next natural inhale to reach both hands up towards the sky. Exhale, right hand falls to earth. Left hand reaches up and over the top. Inhale, reach this up. So just adding a little more fluid movement. Leaning from right to left, really opening up that side body. Just take your time, always using the inhale to come up and the exhale to head over. Beautiful work. Just take your time. Let's go a couple more times each direction. If you're matching your neighbor, great. If not, just moving at your own pace is just fine. You don't even have to try to match me. Now, once you've gotten both sides, bring yourself back up nice and tall. And then just exhale these hands straight forward out in front of you. As you exhale, flip your palms towards the ground and then just pull the elbows straight back to the side. Inhale, reach the hands straight out in front. Exhale, pull those elbows back. See if you can close your eyes. One more time, hands go straight out. Elbows come back. Inhale, stretch the hands straight out, and then just lift them up above your head. Right hand's gonna fall to the earth. Exhale, and let your left hand tap just outside that front knee. Beautiful. Inhale, bring it back up, and go one more time this side. Same movement. Hand falls, and then the other hand kind of just taps right outside. Perfect. Bring this back up strong. Exhale, breath, hands fall down to the heart. Lift the chest on your inhale, and then just exhale as you start to peek over this right shoulder and add a little twist. Inhale, hands back to center. Exhale, start to peek over that other shoulder, add a little twist. Back to center. Hands fall to the front so the knees and flexion breath is introduced. As you inhale, hands slide back towards those hip creases, chin lift. Exhale, breath, you'll round your back. Round your spine. Just take a few more, easing in and out. Allowing this practice to be just about you. We're not focusing on anyone else who might be in the room with you or anyone else outside the doors that you're thinking about comparison. It's just about moving within your own physical body. Last one. Hands fall forward. Back rounds. Beautiful. Back up to a nice tall spine. And then we're just going to move ourselves towards hands and knees. The tabletop makes sense now. So just start to figure out what shape of table makes most sense in your own physical body. I'm going to set up wrists right underneath my shoulders, knees right underneath my hips. And I'm going to take a couple cat-cows. So as I inhale, my belly drops towards the earth, my chin lifts, and my tail lifts. Exhale breath, I find a rounded back, rounded spine. So just take your time. Figure out what feels good in your body. Your hands might be a little wider, or your knees might be a little wider. And that's okay. One more at your own pace. On your next angry cat spine, go ahead and lift those hips a little bit and just start to sit them back towards your heels. So we are still hanging out here on the floor in a child's pose. Walk your hands towards the right edge of your mat. Lean off a little bit towards your left hip and just take a big C-curve stretch of that spine. Inhale, walk the hands back towards the center of the mat. Let's send them over to the other side. So just as you were doing before, sinking into those heels, reaching over. Beautiful. Take your time. Hands start to walk back to the middle of the mat. We'll come up to hands and knees, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let the hips kind of sway a little bit right and left. Perfect. And then we're going to shift weight forward and back in those wrists. So we're just kind of playing around with opening up those wrists this morning. Today, just making sure we're putting some weight forward, weight backward. It might even feel nice, especially if you feel like your wrists sometimes are a little weak in your yoga practice, to flip your palms up. Get a little stretch across the front side edges of those wrists. All right, beautiful. Hands put themselves back on the earth. Let them walk one little hand step in front of your traditional table. Shift your shoulders so that now they line up right with your wrists. Perfect. As you exhale, bend these elbows and just come down for a little tricep push-up. Push back up nice and strong. And then exhale to sit back towards your heels. Curl your toes under. It feels more like puppy pose. You're just getting a big stretch for the spine. Inhale, come back forward to that half plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, tricep push-up. Inhale, lift it back up. And then exhale, sit back towards the heels. Do this 2 more times. Just take your time. Of course, if that push-up just feels too much today, you don't have to lower down. You can just hold that in kind of a half plank position instead. But we're just kind of playing around with weight distribution in our hands, a little bit of arm strength, core strength. Beautiful. Next time you're forward to that half plank, curl your toes under and let's find our first down dog of this practice time together. So maybe when you hit that down dog, it needs some movement. You're bending the knees, you're pushing those hips up towards the sky, taking your time in this shape. Let that breath really move in and out. Beautiful work. As you exhale, knees drop back to ground. Inhale, shift the shoulders forward, put it over those wrists. Exhale, tricep push-up. Lift it back up on the inhale. Exhale, sit back onto heels. Perfect. Inhale, half plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Inhale, knees drop. Put yourself in that half plank a little faster this time. Exhale, tricep push-up. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, sit back on these heels. Last one. Inhale, back forward towards half plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, now you just get to hang here. Hang out in that down dog. Walk it out. Small steps with your feet. We're going to take our time to walk feet towards our hands and hang in a forward fold. So when you get here, I want you to relax your wrists. Let them kind of roll around. If your arms feel tense, you might kind of just move the arms around here a little bit while you're hanging down towards the earth. and then we'll find a half lift. The inhale breath brings hands to shins, crown of the head is straight forward, exhale, fold. Plant the feet, big inhale, reach the hands as high as they can go. Exhale, open out. Cactus shape, beautiful. Half sun salutations here. So inhale on your way up. Good. Exhale, fold all the way down towards the earth. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the feet, reach the hands as high as they can go. Exhale, cactus. All right, you know the rhythm. Let's do one more, same fluid movement. Matching this breath and body movement together to flow like a dance. Exhale, fold. Plant those feet. When you're ready, know that your inhale breath brings you all the way back to standing. Open the arms, heart opens. Exhale, beautiful. Just let the hands come in and resonate. Let them sit right here at your heart, tapping one another palm to palm. Another big full breath. Close the eyes. Just relax the breath right over those fingertips. When you feel ready, inhale breath reaches back up towards the sky. Your exhale is going to take you into just a simple chair pose. Knees bend, arms extend out. Looking for length for the spine. These look great. Feel free to take a quick peek down. Make sure that you can still see your toes. You want your knees slightly back behind those toes. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands drop down. Right foot is going to step back. We're going to drop the right knee all the way into the ground, maybe even dropping those right toes to the earth, and take your time to bring your arms up. So you're in a kneeling lunge. That back knee is on the ground. Your right leg is back. Left foot is forward. Beautiful. Just take your time. And if it feels too big, you can always widen a little bit. Make sure you've got a more comfortable stance. All right, let these arms come down. We're going to shoot them back towards your hips and just pull your chest slightly forward, long spine, gazing out several feet out in front of you. Inhale, lift that back up. Switch the hands up. Exhale, take the chest slightly forward, arms shoot back, power through those fingers, a little pinch in the upper back. One more, hands go up. Get just that little tip of the spine, hands reaching back. Beautiful. Lift it back up tall. As you feel ready, this big exhale takes hands down to earth. Curl the toes under on your back foot. Lift that knee up off the ground. Now you can stay right here, or if you'd like to add a twist, your right hand comes to the inside of that left foot. Left hand reaches up towards the sky. Now you got blocks handy, most of you. If you want to use a block, feel free to put a block underneath that hand. These look really nice. Hand is in the sky. Let it float forward towards the front of your mat. Back down to the earth. Front foot steps back. Downward facing dog. Lift those hips up nice and high. Walk that dog. All right, from here, inhale breath, drop knees to the ground. Exhale, tricep push-up, just as you did before. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, sit back onto those heels, that same puppy pose we were playing with earlier. Let the spine feel really long here and continue to breathe. So you're not flattening the toes and really relaxing into those heels. You've got curled toes. Hips are still slightly lifted. Chest is trying to come down towards the earth. Maybe the forehead even collapses into the mat. It's a lot about your thoracic spine. We're opening up the upper part of the back. Beautiful. Take your time. Shift slightly forward, putting some weight back into these hands, and then just go back up to your down dog. Hips lift up. Small steps or a large leap with your feet to bring them back to your hands. Forward fold for a breath. And then half lift to get yourself ready to stand. Half lift is an inhale. Exhale down. Plant the feet, big inhale, hands reach up. Maybe even invite cactus again here as you exhale. And then hands come to the heart. Let's go back and find a chair again. Hands reach tall. The exhale sits us right back down into that power chair. Now, of course, if you need to relax these shoulders, they can always come to more of like a lotus hand. But if you're feeling strong, turn those pinkies in, really sink into those heels. Let the quads be on fire. Beautiful work today. Fold down into the earth, exhaling on your way. Inhale, let's find a half lift. Let those hamstrings open. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back this time. The left knee drops into the earth, and we kind of take our time here to get comfortable on the ground. Bringing the hands up only when you feel ready. And of course, if you're needing to adjust the earth underneath of you, you can add blankets or towels underneath that knee on the ground. Good. Sometimes as we shift here, we gotta make wardrobe corrections too. So do whatever you need to get comfortable in that shape. Let those shoulders drop. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands are gonna sweep just like we did before. Take just a slight hinge forward, really letting those fingers shoot fire behind you. Inhale, lift it back up. 2 more just like that. So you should feel the hip flexor really kicking in to keep your balance on that back leg. Lots of fire in those hands as we shoot them back behind us, feeling strength in the arms and the upper back, triceps, shoulders. Beautiful work. Bring that back up. When you feel ready, these hands will move down and find the earth. Back toes curl, knee lift. This time your left hand might find its way either onto a block or just flat to the earth as that right hand reaches up towards the sky. And just as we did before, see if you can hold this for another breath. Taking a pause from the flowing movement for something that feels more traditional. Hand from the sky starts the cartwheel forward to the front of your mat. Place it on the earth. If you've been using blocks, you can scoot those out of the way. Front foot steps back, downward facing dog. Now here I'm going to give you space for a traditional vinyasa if you'd like, or you can keep my little puppy flow that I have going today. Your inhale breath drops your knees to the ground. Your exhale breath takes that tricep push up. Inhaling back up. Curl toes under. Surrender hips to heels. Walk the hands as far forward as you feel ready. And really let the upper back get some length. Of course, if you'd rather be in traditional down dog right here, or take a second vinyasa, options are always there. Good work. All right, start to wake up. Start to bring yourself back up towards this traditional table. Let's not go straight into down dog just yet. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, cat cow, take 3. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, rounded spine. 2 more. This is all about just reconnecting with that breath, making sure that it's continuing to flow and grace through this practice time today. Last one. From here, back to traditional table. Right hand comes directly underneath your face. Go ahead and shoot your left leg, had to think, sorry. Right hand under face. Left leg shoots back behind. Turn your left foot to the inside edge. Now your right knee can stay on the ground, but you might choose to just turn your right toes just slightly towards the outer edge of your mat. And you're just going to release up to a kind of a modified side plank. Of course, if strength is there today and you want to take this wrist just slightly out, even with your forehead, lift into more of a traditional side plank where you are not modified. You are welcome to try to stack those hips. and take the full extension of side. But I'm okay to keep my knee on the ground if you are today. Lots of strength happening for those arms. Beautiful. Hand that's in the sky. Let it do a full circle. Come towards your mat, down to the earth, and then circle it back up. If you're in a full plank, this might be really challenging. Once the hand comes to ground, just pause it there, turn around, drop both knees to the mat, sweep the hands back by your heels, flip your palms to the sky, one breath in a child's pose to relax those wrists. Open and close the hands a little bit if you need to, rolling them a little bit side to side. Beautiful. Inhale, breath flicks these wrists out from underneath of us, back up here to the table. The left hand moves itself underneath your face. I'm putting mine even with about my forehead. My left knee is on the ground while my right foot shoots back. Turn my right foot so the inside edge is what's looking for the floor. My left toe starts to curl out towards the mat edge, on the outer edge there, and then you might release this right hand up. Remembering that if you want to take the challenge of a more stacked side plank, you can certainly have that, or you can keep this knee on the ground. Watching that you're not collapsing into the wrist that's on the earth. Continue to lift up, hand that's in the sky, takes that big full circle, just as you did before. And the next time it's starting to circle down towards the earth, let it find the ground. Spin yourself so that both knees hit the mat again. Reach the hands back. This time you might look for something that's going to give you more stretch in your upper back. So maybe the crown of your head comes towards the earth, and that means the top of your head, not your forehead. Maybe your hands just kind of hang out here as you rest the top of your head on the ground. Others might choose to lace the hands behind the back. Others may choose to reach towards the outer edges of their feet and take more of a rabbit pose. So whatever feels good, you can kind of interlace here just over the low back. You can let your hands hang down on the earth, but you're getting a little bit of a headstand sensation in the body because you've got the crown of the head geared into the ground. So just watch your neck. Of course, if this doesn't feel good to you, just relax the toes, sit into more of a traditional child's pose, and get off the top of your head. No poses are one size fits all. So if they're not fitting you today, no, you can always make adjustments. Soften those toes back down to earth. If your hands have been lifted, let them fall. Take yourself just to traditional child to let the blood slowly start to circulate back away from the crown of your head. Take your hands forward up the mat and then just build a little tower. Put a right fist and then the left fist, and then put your forehead right on that little tower. So you've created a little something. Fist, fist, and then the head goes on top. Massage the middle of your forehead right into that tower, letting all the stress and tension hiding right at the brow line. And massage itself into those hands. Perfect. All right, friends. Hands look for the mat. Hips start to lift. Set yourself back up in a downward facing dog shape. Nice and tall lifted hips. Walk it out. And then the reverse of what we've been doing. So instead of bringing feet to hands, take your time. Let's bring hands to feet. Once you hit that forward fold, as always, relax the neck. Let it shake a little bit or nod. And then seek out those half lifts again. Just take a one half lift. Let the spine get nice and long. Exhale, fold. Plant the feet strong in the earth. Hands reach up, look up. This time open with the letter Y. Let the upper back have some space. Beautiful. Hands come back together. Let them sink right at the heart. Palm to palm, eyes closed, standing Tadasana. Strengthen those legs. Square the pelvis to the front of the mat. Watch the sway that naturally likes to form in your low back. Keep sturdy and strong. One more solid breath. All right, excellent work. Take your time and just let your hands fall down to the side. We're going to step forward with our right foot and then spin your left toes so that they go parallel with the side of your mat. So I'm going to switch this way just for a moment for those in the room so I don't confuse you. Right foot steps forward, left foot's parallel, arms reach out. So you're looking for kind of a warrior two shape. So your hips are squared to the side of your mat, but your arms are reaching forward and back. Take that front hand, flip it towards the sky, and then lean away from the front of your mat. Just take a reverse warrior. Inhale back to warrior two. Front elbow drops towards this front knee. Back arm slides up and long. Beautiful. Back to warrior two. That's kind of a surfboard looking pose. Flip the front hand. Reverse it again. Back to warrior two. Up and over. Take your time. Last time through the dance. Using your own breath, always exhaling when you lean away. Inhaling when you come back through. Lots of side body opening. Those are beautiful. Bring yourself back and find warrior two. All right, from here, we're just going to take a slight turn on these back toes. Put yourself into a crescent lunge. So that's a bent front knee, a straight back leg. And when the oomph feels like it's there in the body, you're going to put it forward into this front leg and turn yourself into warrior three. Arms might reach straight forward. They might flick back, or they might open wide into an airplane. If this back foot needs to come down and reset at any time, feel free to do so. And then just give yourself a new lift. One more breath. Back foot that's been lifted, just swing it forward towards your standing leg. Big half sun salutation. Reach for the sky. Fold to the earth. Half lift. Let that breath be fluid. Exhale it down. Beautiful. Inhale, reach to the sky. Letter Y again, as you did before, opening. And then hands come back and fall to the heart. Now your left foot's the one that's going to stay forward this time. Right foot steps back. Right foot turns. I'm going to switch again just so I don't confuse you in person or me. Arms reach nice and wide. You're back in that same warrior two. Remembering with warrior two, you've got a bent front knee. Arms are wide. Flip the front hand. Lean away from that front knee. And then back around and through. Two more times at your own pace. Getting through that side angle, you'll come back up and find your warrior two. And we'll just pause here to let everyone catch up. Hands drop down. Start to spin on these back toes. You're looking for crescent. That's our big lunge. You've got a nice big bend in this front knee. Your back leg is straight. Your arms are up. When the oomph is ready to move towards that front foot, this is when we move balance forward and we shift into something looking like warrior three. So here's a classic example. Don't compare yourself because I'm touching the wall. I'm cheating today. I have a nice little tap here on the wall or my screen to the side. So if you need to come home and reset, bring that foot home, bring it back to your mat, and then lift it back up again, that's okay. Those of you at home practicing with us know you can always use furniture in your space for balance. All right, back foot that's been lifted, swing it forward, let it find your standing leg. Big half sun salutation, go straight into it, up and down. Maybe let it go a little slower than the last time. And then just start to reach back up tall when you're ready. Letter Y or a cactus, whichever is your fave. And then just let your hands settle back into your heart. Palm to palm. Maybe thumbs even coming and kissing into the chest. Your spine is tall. Feel strong through those legs. Pelvis is square with the front of the mat. Maybe even a slight tip of the tail underneath of you just to keep you from kind of doing that sway back where we tend to kind of stick our tush out behind us. See if we can keep that drawn in. Inward rotation of the inner thighs. Perfect. Hands are going to drop down to the sides. We're going to do one more round of balance. It's going to involve a little bit of movement. You can stay where you are, but I'm going to kind of turn so you can see me. As you inhale, you're going to lift your right leg and your left arm. That leg is going to lift to kind of a 90-degree, almost puppeteer-like, and then when you exhale, you'll take it down. You only got to hold it for a breath, but you're going to be switching back and forth from leg to leg. So just take your time. And this one is really tricky, especially for those of you who are in person with me today, because you're going to see everybody out of your peripherals, and it really messes with your balance. So if you feel wobbly or a little unsure, really put your eyes on something that's not moving. So ideally not your neighbor or me. And those of you at home, it can get tricky when you're trying to view me on the screen and try balance. So put your eyes on something other than your screen and just go kind of slow motion. It's almost like we're walking in mud, quicksand, snow. See if you can lift this last round knee a little higher. Ooh, you got it. Straight through the core, balance. Once you've got both legs, just separate those feet, maybe as wide as your mat. Take a little bit of movement in the outer hips. And then I'm going to take a big forward fold. You're welcome to join me. Now I'm going to give you two options. You can stand like this, feet as wide as the mat, or you might choose to even turn long ways on your mat. We've all got plenty of space here in the studio, so you can face whatever direction you want. And then just give yourself a fold down into the middle. So you can be forward or wide on your mat. And just breathe into that space. Now, if it feels good to you to kind of sway a little bit, your hands can move towards shins, towards just above the top edge of the knee. If you start to sway a little bit right and left, maybe you're bending your knees to match. Make sure that your toes are turning out to match your knees if your knees are spinning out towards the outer edges. Now, you don't have to sway if that doesn't feel good to you. Or if you're looking for a big sway, you can always turn it into a little squat over to the side with one leg out long if that feels good. Trying to give you a little freedom here in this space. So some may be taking big shapes, some may be just kind of hanging out right there in that forward fold. Some are taking a small sway. Wherever you are, perfectly fine. All right. Looks like in studio, most of us turn sideways on our mats. I don't know if you did at home, But if you didn't at home and you're still facing the front of your mat, take one of your feet, one foot, step it back so that you are turned sideways on your mat. You're nice and wide. You guys all look great in studio. Use your inhale breath to kind of bring you up halfway. Exhale, breath fold. Next natural inhale breath, bring your chest up high to the sky. Let your heels turn inward. And then just start to bend your knees outward. As you start to bend, you realize, I'd like my feet wider, or I'd like them closer. You can kind of wiggle around until you get the alignment that feels good. Arms might hang out in cactus. That's a big goddess shape if that feels nice. Or your hands can come down and kind of hang out in a more restful shape near your legs. If you choose to bring your hands down, you might listen to your neck a little bit here. Let your head sway a little bit. If you're in cactus, you're nice and solid, grounded through your feet. Beautiful. Inhale, breath, straighten the legs, stand up tall. Exhale, breath, go right back down. Inhale, breath, stand up. Exhale, breath, come down. Now you can do whatever feels good to your arms. Some of us as we stand up are lifting arms up. Some of us as we stand up, we're just kind of keeping those arms down. Whatever feels like it makes the most sense. Just do about 2 more. Again, doing your own thing here. There's lots of room for space for you. Once you're down in that next one, pause there. Beautiful work. Maybe you're in cactus, or maybe you're a more relaxed hand. Might even look like a lotus with the palms flipped up to the sky. Next natural inhale, stand up, straighten those legs, let your arms relax. Start to heel toe the feet a little bit underneath of you. Depending on your mat surface, it might be really sticky, and you might need to kind of lift your feet up off the ground. Perfect. Big step to the front of your mat. Set yourself, mountain pose, hands come down, heart lift. Inhale, reach, full sun salutation this time. Exhale, hinge and fold down towards the earth. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet towards the back of the mat, big plank pose. Maybe knees are up off the earth this time. Exhale, take your time, bend the elbows, lower chest towards the earth, up dog or cobra, depending on your practice needs. Ease that back. Then you can press, hands maybe move back towards breastbone if they aren't already there. Maybe you're on your knees for child's pose, or your hips are lifted for a downward dog. Wherever your practice today is calling you to visit, that's where you can go. Just because you signed up for Yoga Flow, clicked to that button, drove yourself here, doesn't mean that you have to operate at a speed that isn't working for you today. You can always take time to turn it up a little bit or turn it down, listening to your own body. One more nice fluid breath in whatever pose you've chosen here. And then we'll just start to release our knees to the earth. If you're already in child's pose, your knees are already there. Just bring yourself up and let's find kind of a tabletop here. Once you found that tabletop, revisit a cat-cow, just one. Belly down on your inhale. Back rounding on your exhale. Beautiful work. Right foot is going to extend long behind you. Left hand reaches out in front, balancing table just for a breath or so. And then we're going to give space for a big quad stretch. So I'm going to take this right foot and bend it. My left hand's going to start to reach back and see if it can make connection with my right foot. Now, there's no shame in having to bring that right knee down to the ground, kind of look around, see if you can find this foot. If you can make connection, maybe you kick up and lift into a big half bow. If that doesn't work for you, hands can always just hang out right here on your low back. You can just turn your gaze slightly up towards the sky. So if it's a big struggle to get that foot, you can certainly drop it down at any point in time. Give yourself one more breath there. Big balanced shape, kicking foot into hand. Beautiful, start to send that down. Hands rejoin the earth. Tabletop, cat-cow, just one. Belly down on the inhale. Back rounding on the exhale. Balancing table on the other side. The left foot reaches long. Right hand lifts and points. Just a breath or so. Really to engage that core. Back knee bends. We start reaching back with that hand. Maybe it makes connection high, or perhaps we need to bring it down to the mat. Settle it in, figure it out, play with where your wrist is, and then kick into the foot. Knowing that the option to always just bring hand to the low back, maybe where you are today. You don't always have to try to go to the biggest shape you can get in. Give it one more breath. And then start to bring it back to earth. Hands are going to look for ground. One last cat-cow. Belly looking for the earth. Back rounding. Once you get to that angry cat, child's pose. Bring the big toes together. Widen the knees as wide as the mat. And really sink the chest down through the middle of the legs. Let the hands drop down onto the earth. Let the forehead drop down. Really allow your chest to surrender as much as possible down into this mat. Beautiful breath. Allowing the body to just get easy and soft right down through the middle. Perfect. As your next natural inhale comes around, just start walking hands back a little closer to the body. If the knees allow, you can lift the chest and just kind of hang out, seated on those heels. If that doesn't work for you, you can come to a higher knee. Maybe bring your knees in a little closer and just lift up. So wherever you are, whether you're sitting back on your heels or you're on high knees, let your neck have some freedom of movement. Maybe your shoulders lift and lower. All right, perfect work. Take your time. Let's start to look for a seat. So we're just going to bring these legs out from underneath of us so that they kind of crisscross and we fall over the ankles, or you sweep them around sides. See if you can make room on your mat so that you've got space out in front. So you're probably about 3/4 of the way or halfway down the mat. Legs are long. See if you can find some links out through your fingertips. Maybe jogging those knees a little bit and then fold right down over top of those legs. So paying attention to the spine here, just as always, letting yourself ease the chest forward for that forward fold, if that makes sense. Perfect. Take your time, and we'll slowly start to bring our chest back up. Hug the right knee in towards your body, and then just let this right knee, I'm going to spin so you guys can see what I'm doing at home. Let this right knee easy fall towards the floor. So you've got left leg extended, right knee is bent, arms lift up, one more forward fold right down towards that front knee. Paying attention to the SI joint, the IT band, the hamstring, the low back. There's all kinds of stuff that can get a little angry in these folds. So listen to your body. Inhale, breath, bring the chest up. Now, the same leg as the knee that's bent out to the side. That hand's going to take a little back stroke point the fingers away from your body, and you're going to use the heel of this long leg and a little bit of this bent leg to kind of serve as kickstands as you lift the hips and point up and over the head. Just a little bit of a front body stretch, a little bit more arm work, back opener, heart opener. Beautiful. Take the time. Hips start to sit down towards earth. Start standing up that right knee. And we'll take one little twist with that right knee. So you can choose to keep it right here and just kind of turn into that knee. Or some like to take something bigger and cross it over and turn into that knee. Just make sure your spine stays tall. Don't let your chin drop way down to your chest. Even if you're just barely twisted, you still want a tall spine. So whatever that shape means to you. Perfect. Untwisting from that space that we've been in. Let the legs go long. We'll hug in this left knee. Let it fall out to the side. Toes pull back towards the face. Spine gets nice and tall, and then fold forward into that front leg, just as you did before, always watching this spine, making sure that our heart, just as much as our head, pulling us forward. Beautiful work. Next natural inhale starts to bring this chest up. Same knee that was bent out to the side. That hand is going to cartwheel behind us, fingers facing away. Remember, heel and this leg kind of work as the kickstand as we start to lift. So you get to kind of use the weight of this leg and that heel. Yep, and the arm just lifts up and over. It's a little bit different than your traditional side plank. It's more of a heart opener, hip lifts. Easy breath. And then we'll start to bring that back down. Whatever hand feels natural to reach for that knee, we'll stand it back up. And then take your twist. You can keep the foot on the outside of that leg. Step it over. Close your eyes. Soften the muscles of your face as you take this twist. Beautiful work. Take your time. We'll start to unwrap from that. Legs coming back towards center. I'm going to bend my knees because that feels good to me. And just kind of let them sweep a little bit side to side. You can do kind of a slow motion back to your back to use some abdominals, or you can just surrender. Fall backwards, hug your knees in, rock and roll, whatever feels best to you. We're moving back to our backs. So once you hit your back, really let the vertebra of your spine start to make connection with the earth. It might feel best to hug those knees in. Might feel good to lift your feet up. Whatever makes the most sense in your body to let your back start to feel like it's settling down. Arms might reach overhead. They might make T's. They might make Y's, cactus. We've done all different shapes today with our upper body. So just see which ones feel best to you. Maybe you plant the back of your head in the earth and kind of play with lifting your shoulder blades up off the ground, bringing the knees into the body. If it feels good, drop the feet down into the earth. Take your time to do so if you haven't already. I'm going to take bound angle just for one more hip stretch that feels nice in my body. If that feels good to you, feel free. That's where the soles of the feet find one another. Your knees fall out and open to the outer edges of the mat. It looks like kind of a butterfly shape with the feet. Maybe your right hand comes and rests on the heart as the left hand wraps across the lower abdomen or the belly. And we're really going to focus on slowing that breath back down. It doesn't necessarily mean these have to be big, effortful breaths, but it does mean that we take the conscious effort to make them longer and slower. So whatever shape is going to make the most sense to start to find a sense of peace in the body, go ahead and start to look for that shape. For most, they find comfort in traditional savasana with feet down the mat, heels planted, maybe toes rolling towards the outer edges. It might feel good to keep the hands close by and stay on your own mat. Or it might make sense to make yourself a little bit bigger, using up all the space that you have around you. Let the back of the head rest into the earth no matter where you've chosen. Let the muscles of the face become soft and easy. For those of you practicing at home, if you're practicing outdoors, make sure you've found a place where your eyes can feel at ease, whether you throw a towel over your face or you roll to your belly. Those of us in studio, just take your time. Find the space that feels best to you. And revisit our opening intention. The idea of putting your health, your mental capacity in the forefront. I do my own mental work and heal myself. This is the best thing I can do for others. Allowing your body to surrender into the physical earth beneath you. And let the sound of my voice be the only thing you need to call you back. As thoughts drift in and out of the mind, you can see them, embrace them, observe them, but then just reconnect with your breath to stay present in this space. Slowly starting to become aware of your breath, allowing your inhales to deepen and your exhales to deepen. Allowing very gentle movements to come back into the body as you feel ready. It might be something as simple as wiggling the fingers or wiggling your toes. Maybe allowing the back of the head to sway side to side on the earth. Just taking your time. It might make sense to start to bend the knees if they've been long down the mat. Maybe bringing them in a little closer to the chest or rocking and rolling from side to side. Ultimately, finding yourself resting on your right hand side. Using your right arm even as a pillow, taking a side lying savasana, hugging those knees close into the body. Sometimes that fetal position can feel really safe and inviting. And then we'll press into the earth and find ourselves back up to a tall spine. We're going to close out today's class very similar to how we began. If you remember, we started seated, our spine was tall. Maybe the hands are going to rest on your lap, or perhaps you bring them palm to palm and let the thumbs touch into the heart. Today's final reading goes right along with our opening intention. It's entitled, Room at the Top. There is always room at the top, Daniel Webster. In a zero-sum game, no one can win without someone else suffering a corresponding loss. Fortunately, life is not a zero-sum game, though there are some who believe that it is. We don't have to push others aside to be winners, and we don't have to enjoy our successes alone. In fact, sharing our successes with others can make them much more meaningful and pleasurable. I want to succeed and include others with me as I do. There is always room at the top. Today's opening intention was about making space for you, taking care of you so that you can help and assist others. I greatly appreciate you finding this time today to do just that. Take care of you, not only in your physical body, but in your mind and your spirit as well. May you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again. Namaste.